Hey, it is Box Office Buddies. You know the drill. Different movie, different buddy. I'm here with Brandon, and we checked out
Killers of the Moonflower.
Flower Moon.
Flower Moon.
I'm still recovering from this. Was one of the most draining cinematic experiences I've had.
You mean you didn't get enough sleep in the movie?
Like I said, we saw Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese's latest. Of course, always big cast when he comes out with something. Obviously, your token Leo, he's in all of them, and then Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Lily Gladstone, a bit of a newcomer there, and what were your thoughts? I know you had strong feelings.
Well, by the first hour, I was ready to leave. The pacing was abysmally slow. It did not capture my attention. The acting was great. The directing, cinematography was great, but I feel like the story was just snooze fest.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad because the message that they're trying to convey, I think, is a bit of an important one. Showing how mistreated, not only the Osage natives, but natives in general, were by especially white people. It is a real thing, and it is something that we should be sensitive to, but this movie did not do that for me.
Yeah, I feel like it missed the mark. Like, there were moments in the movie where I was like, oof, I can't believe that happened, but like at the same time I was like, if I tried to show that movie to someone, I feel like they'd be like, this is boring.
Right. Right. And
but I mean, something I did learn, like, Rochelle brought it up, is I didn't know there were native nations with a ton of money. So that was something very interesting.
Yeah, it is a different twist from what we've normally seen portrayed in movies, right? Normally in movies, they're poor and still abused and taken advantage of, but in a very different way. This was definitely a different take, a fresh spin on a lot of concepts that we've seen in Hollywood, which I appreciated. Like I said, I think a lot of what this movie was trying to show and portray was an important message, something that is worth seeing. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, this was not it, guys.
I just want to add one thing, is I feel like if you go into the movie knowing what it is, it might come across better.
Okay.
I would like to rewatch the trailer because I feel like I was misled from the trailer. I was anticipating something very different from what I ended up going to see. So I wasn't prepared for, a 3 hour and change movie of drama. I was expecting a little bit more action based on what I saw in the trailer. So
3 hour and change is being very kind to its runtime. Scorsese, I mean, his last movie, which I complained about, The Irishman, which had other flaws too, but one of the major ones was its length.
I turned it off.
And there you go. And I think a lot of people were complaining about that. And instead of Scorsese learning from this, he was like, really? You thought that was bad? Here's another one. Like, it was too long. This movie was way too long. It's not an easy thing to sit in a chair, because that, you're seeing something in a movie theater, you're sitting in a chair. It is not an easy thing to sit down for that long, let alone when you're not being completely, like, mind blown level entertained. So
it was very much a slow burn.
Right. I never had a problem sitting through Lord of the Rings in the theater.
But again, that's an action movie.
And exactly, there's more action. It's so captivating and enthralling. This is not. If you want to watch maybe a mini series, this could have been a lot better.
It's funny you say that. During the movie, I said to myself, I would have rather watched like 4 episodes of TV.
Right.
Have that been divided into 4 episodes. And I feel like it would have come across way better.
Yeah, I think I actually would have appreciated and enjoyed it compared to being borderline miserable. Like, especially that last hour, I was...
That's also funny you say that, because I said after the 2-hour mark, something interesting finally happens, and I go, took 2 hours to get to that point? Like, and normally I don't check my phone during movies, but I kept looking at my phone saying, what time is it? How much longer is this? You know?
Yeah. I mean, here's a list of things you can watch in less time than you could watch Killers of the Flower Moon, Toy Story 1 and 2, Season 1 of The Office, Season 1 of Parks and Rec, Season 1 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Season 1 of Archer. You could almost watch the entire Aladdin trilogy in less time than you could watch this one movie. It's too much.
Really?
It's too much.
I didn't even know half of those, so...
I think it would have been better served as a miniseries. Even then, it still wasn't great. I think you mentioned the performances; they were good.
Mm-hmm.
But no one blew me away. A lot of times, these kind of movies, you'll have a lot of supporting actor nominations at the end of the year. I can't really see that with this. Unless you're considering Lily Gladstone as a supporting actress, she could get nominated.
Well, wouldn't she be best female lead?
Exactly. I'm not sure if it would be lead or supporting in this case. But, yeah. She's the only performance I think could maybe see a nomination.
She was my favorite performance of the movie.
Okay.
I think she played her character very well.
Mm.
And based on how they explained the Osage people, I think it came across as like, yeah, I believe she is that person. You know, when you see actors and, like, you just, like, they are that person. I feel like she did that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, you have that, which you mentioned, but everything else, I mean, you say the storytelling, it wasn't a well-told story. Like I said, it's an interesting topic. There's a lot of new things that Scorsese brought that we haven't seen, but it wasn't told in a way to make us interested. I think of Wind River, which is one of my favorite movies that shows the plight of the Native Americans in many ways, even now. It was so well done compared to this. It's hard to care because of how slow it is, and other than the wife, Lily Gladstone, there aren't many characters that they made that you want to, like, really identify with either.
Yeah. I guess I agree with that. I never saw Wind River, so I can't compare, unfortunately. But I mean, for me, I mean, if you take a step back from the whole movie, the story had I feel like it had a well-built arc to it.
Yeah.
It just was, for me, it was the pacing. I feel like there was a lot of scenes that were drawn out. There was a lot of scenes they added that I feel like they didn't really add to the movie. It just kind of was like, I guess it kind of gave you context, but it didn't really add to the movie overall. Yeah, I mean, they could have easily shaved like 45 minutes off the movie.
I don't know if they easily could have. I almost feel like I said, if it had been a miniseries, they could have added stuff. And it would have been more interesting, because you maybe could have seen a little more with some of the characters that...
I could have built the backstories of the characters more, yeah. Because
like,
we didn't learn a lot about her sisters.
Right.
They were just kind of there.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely if a miniseries, you could have, had 1 episode per character or something like that.
Yeah, I would have preferred 6 hours on my own time to...
Then 3 hours.
3.5, where I'm forced to watch it all in one sitting. It was... And even the execution of a lot of things. I mentioned this coming out of the movie. There were some scenes where I was like laughing, and I'm not sure I was supposed to. It was like it seemed like it was supposed to be a dramatic moment, but it came across so cheesy that I was like,
yeah, there were even people laughing. Like the people behind us were laughing at a lot of things that didn't feel like they should have been laughed at.
But I'm not saying like an insensitive laughing, like someone dies and haha, not like that, but just like some sort of like interaction between characters, and it's supposed to be, I think, supposed to be taken seriously, and
came off awkward and kind of like silly, and it's worth laughing at.
One that comes to mind now is like when Leo gets arrested, and he keeps saying, "My wife is sick, my wife," and I'm like, is this funny or like? Is this supposed to be dramatic? I'm not sure how to feel about this scene. You know, it was very strange. Yeah. Very strange.
That was a weird scene because...
and there were a few of those. So the execution was not great either, in my opinion. I mean, you walked out saying you're done with Scorsese. So...
Yeah, I mean, I will be very hard-pressed to watch another one of his movies. After The Irishman, I turned off after an hour, and this movie that
you didn't have the option to turn off?
Yeah, I paid for it, so I was like, I'm going to sit here, but I kind of wish I didn't.
Yeah. He hasn't made anything that's blown me away in almost a decade now, so... Another disappointment on Box Office Buddies. I think Scorsese's being too interested in the history that he finds interesting. He wants to share that with others, but it's not. You got to find a different way to do it, or you got to find different stories to tell.
And maybe part of it is just his name. People kind of let him do what he wants.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean... what was the budget of this?
The budget was $200 million. First weekend, they've only made 20-something million.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they make their money back, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think I hope this is a bit of a lesson. I prefer this to Marvel still. I mean, I'd rather something original than,
another superhero movie.
Recycled garbage. Yeah, this was not it. This was not it, and I'm sad. Thanks for checking this out. I hope you are effectively warned. I would especially say avoid this one in movie theaters. There's no reason to see it in the theaters either.
Yeah, if you are gonna watch it, stream it.
Yeah, no big screen experience with this. Like I didn't feel that at all. So yeah, I would recommend avoiding this one at least until you can watch it on your own time. And yeah. If you want more of this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll be seeing you soon. Take care.